This Friday, Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan are back to switch things up in Disney's Freakier Friday.
Totally, yes.
It's an absolute riot, and the only movie that can be described as
So much weirder than the last time.
What last time?
it's the frequel
You ready?
we've been waiting for.
That absolutely slays.
What deeply out of touch old person came up with that?
You did.
Wow.
Don't miss the comedy event of the summer for all ages. Disney's Freakier Friday in theaters this Friday. Get tickets now. Rated PG. Parental guidance suggested.
It's Wednesday Addams. I see you're trying to distract yourself from your own banal thoughts. Let me help. Here's a recording thing made of my latest root canal.
Wednesday, Season 2, begins August 6th, only on Netflix.
With a major selection of the looks your kiddos love, starting at just $4 in the Walmart app, a new school year means a stylish new them. Who knew? Find skater skirts and Crocs that say, I'm casual but cool. Sparkly sneakers that say, it's my classroom, you're just learning in it. And preppy polos that say, I'm the teacher's pet, even if they're mommy's menace at home. Find their favorite styles starting at just $4 in the app. The Walmart you thought you knew is now new.
Pie in the Sky Media. This series contains adult language and descriptions of graphic violence throughout. Listener discretion is advised.
3, 2, 1. Welcome back, Criminal Mischief Nation, to another bonus episode of Criminal Mischief with Carolyn and Branden. Carolyn Sorio, wonderful to see you. How are you?
I'm doing just great.
I heard you had a nice weekend up in Seattle, huh?
Oh my gosh, it was beautiful. Got a new kayak, which I'm excited to use. I've
That
been wanting
big yellow thing that was in the sky is called the sun. I know you don't see it often. It's called the sun.
I know. That's why I'm smiling and happy. I had a relaxing, wonderful, amazing weekend, and I got a new kayak, and I am so thrilled.
That's something that goes on the water, right? A kayak?
Yeah.
Okay, great. In rapids or like on a
No.
pond?
On the lake. On the
On a
lake.
lake, on a lake.
Yeah.
Is it
something
motorized?
No. No.
I'm not a waterman, obviously, so just explain it to me.
It's just, I've been wanting a kayak for so long, and, we've had little boats and canoes, and I just want a one-person kayak so I can just go like this.
Oh, okay, I get it. All right, canoe. I was picturing a canoe.
No.
I know what a kayak is now. Like,
Yeah.
It looks like you have no legs when you're in it, right?
It's not anything fancy. It's nothing. It's simple. It's like you just row.
You're in a seated position. Your legs are in front of you.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay,
yes.
I know what it is now.
And you enjoy nature, okay? I don't want to be accused of obsessing over some nature thing with you today. So I'll keep it
no,
short.
no, thanks. I'll pass on that.
Okay.
Summer has arrived in Los Angeles. We had a large bout of the May gray and the June gloom for like 3.5 weeks, just socked in every day, which I love. But now,
You would love Seattle. I don't know why you give me such a hard time. You have
I know.
personality for it.
Yeah, but it's no, it's nice. Seattle's great.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Seattle's great.
Mhm.
I was just reading something about Seattle, and I forget what it was, but it was super.
How beautiful and wonderful it is.
A super interesting fact, but no, I don't remember. I don't remember now. Dang it! If I do, I'll let you know. But so let's talk about the Gilgo case and the alleged serial killer Rex Heuermann. So what happened was, I see this headline in the news, and I try to be a good producer for you, Carolyn, and I saw this, and I'm not sure where you get your news from. I just spread a really wide net. I get it everywhere. And this came out early the other day that Rex Heuermann is being charged with 2 additional murders.
Yes.
And from what we've heard since this broke, there's probably a lot more. Everyone was assuming there were going to be more, and for the reasons that we'll get into and that Bill Cannon spoke about. But so I send you the article, and then what do you think? I'm
just like, wow, what was really beyond just the article, it was the case documents that were released that really explain like 37 pages of what they found. So ahead of the new charges on Thursday of Jessica Taylor and Sandra Castillo was just everything of how it was laid out of what happened. So basically back in May, they did like a 9-day search of a place called Manorville, which is this huge rural area. And then
on Long Island.
On Long Island. And then at some point they did a 6-day search. They went back to Rex Heuermann's home, and, it sounds like they were focused on the basement. And, so people kind of knew like something's up, something's going down. And so then reading this document, you heard our conversation with Bill, like there was just a lot that was exposed from it. And, in that 1993, that's when Sandra Castillo was murdered. So that adds 2 decades to the timeline.
That's the big takeaway for me, is that it just seems like eventually all of these indicators, all these boxes wound up being checked, right? Like just about every time they start in their mid to late 20s. Okay. That's right. So there we are, which I find really interesting. The other thing though, was that the different MOs that he used.
Yeah.
Okay, I found that's not really consistent, because normally what you hear is like, okay, they stay in their ethnic group for the most part. Okay. And they have a very consistent MO. There's a way that they are comfortable with killing. And so when they go out of that MO or go out of their ethnic group, that's much more dangerous and much more difficult for police, because there isn't a common kind of denominator between everything. And it may introduce that there was a different killer that did this, or it might introduce something else. So let's talk about his different MOs and why he did it.
Well, that's a really good point. Just pausing for a second. When I spoke with Bill, he was saying, a lot of people thought there were 2 killers at Gilgo Beach because there were the remains of 10 people. And so they were the Gilgo 4 who were wrapped in burlap, close to each other, that felt like that was one, and then another potential killer. And so now they're thinking, Rex Heuermann is probably good for all of them, even though the MO is different, because that's what he did with Jessica Taylor, where they found her body, 8 years before they found the rest of her remains that were found in Gilgo Beach. So I think that it opens this up so wide, where there's not just, okay, this is his MO, let's look at all the murders that are related to this MO. It's like, it could be anybody, or not anybody, but you know what I mean?
Right. It doesn't have to be him. Could be anybody.
Well, it just means like any victim could be his victim, depending on what the situation was.
Oh, because right. I see what you're saying now. Right. Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
And so what are they thinking now? Like we heard Bill's take on it, but like in terms of like law enforcement, they've got to think that there's a lot more bodies out there.
They do. That's And 1993, let's open this up. But he has, I think that there was a lot of different places they were looking at. I think in South Carolina or North Carolina, when we talked with Cheryl McCollum, she said that he was purchasing property out there or something with his brother. There's just other states. And then around that area, like we know that he, that document, the blueprint, that was like, what? I
know.
And he thought that was all like secret squirreled in his computer, and they were able to retrieve it. And it was basically like his to-do list, mistakes that he'd made, things that he had to remind himself. It's just, it shows the level. And he created this, they believe, back in 2000, 2001, and updated it in 2001, 2002. So, I definitely think that there's, the nice thing about it is that they now have his DNA. And as they go through cold cases in different states and stuff, he could, pop up.
When did he get married?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I thought this was so weird. In 1993, can you imagine? I'm going off topic for just a second, because I think he got married after this, he was dating someone who lived with him in 1993 when Sandra Castillo's was murdered. And they were able to find, I guess they tested these 3 hairs. And one of these hairs that they found was of this former live-in girlfriend. I mean, can you imagine dating someone back in 1993? You're staying at their house, and you're like, okay, it just didn't work out, right? And then all of a sudden you get this call of like, hey, remember that guy?
I remember who I was dating in 1993.
Okay, well, imagine them coming back to you.
If a cop called me up and says, hey, do you remember this? I'm like, yeah, oh, gosh, sweet girl, great girl.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like 1993, and one of your hairs is like involved in a crime. It was on the body of a woman who was murdered back in 1993.
Wow. Well, that, what was that rule about you always leave something and take something with you from a crime scene?
Yes, but that just seems like, oh my gosh.
That poor girl.
Right?
That poor girl.
Yeah, because now she's listed in the document as witness 3. And I'm like, who is witness 3? Is that because some of the other hairs from, I believe it was his daughter and his wife. We talked about this before about, your husband goes or your wife goes and kills someone, and then your hair gets all enmeshed in that. And thank goodness that she was on vacation during that, because she could be who knows? I don't necessarily think she's been ruled out of anything.
Right. That's why I was asking about the wife. But I remember one of a very early episode that we did, where the woman, I think, was a suspect. And part of her defense was that she was like, I just remember you making fun of me because I mentioned the lambada, because she was dancing, like grinding on some guy on the dance floor. And that was her excuse for the transference.
Yeah. Oh, right. That was the guy that kidnapped that little girl. And unfortunately, her mother was out, just partying and wearing her mom jeans, right? You're totally laughing at me.
Well, listen, you did a little shoulder shake right before you said mom jeans, and it was just too much. I lost it. I'm sorry.
Well, you know what? I got my mom jeans on right now.
Okay.
Anyway, I think we're trying to lighten the episode because it's just so damn tragic, But
well, it just feels like it's going to be never ending. But anyway, go ahead.
Well, that was the locus. It was something locus of something where that transfer of. He tried to use that as an excuse because mom had danced with the guy who would go on to kidnap and murder her child. And then he's trying to put that on her.
Right.
Because she was out with her friends, just party, just having a good time, not doing anything wrong.
Right. But in the Huerman case, it's more unfortunate for someone to be connected to something when they shouldn't be. Because she just happens to live in the house with this guy.
I know. Right? That's what I'm saying. It's so like, I just being, I'm glad they X'd out her name because I'm sure she doesn't want to be known as the woman who was dating Rex Huerman, and then her hair, that's the thing. So in the scheme of things, it's just like, that's not really the point of what we should be talking about, but it's just another layer to it of like the damage control that happens with someone like this. Who knows what's gonna come out? And the thing that was the most upsetting to me was the fact that he took them back there, and it sounds like tortured them for days.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that in a second. But his wife is what I'm not worried about, just interested in when he got married, because Bill loves to, especially the last time we were talking to Bill about how. The wife knows something. The wife knows everything. She knows everything. You can't convince me otherwise. Whatever. And I just wonder if that's how long they were together.
Yes, I think they got married in the mid-90s. So sometime after this, the woman that was
after he started.
Yeah,
but during his active years, obviously,
during his whole time,
the whole time.
Yeah. Wow. What do you think about that? Do you think that, we've heard stories that, the wife doesn't know.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso Virtuo Coffee Machines. Ready to enjoy the bold flavors of barista quality Nespresso iced coffee at home? Simply fill a glass with ice and press the brew button on your Virtuo Pop machine to enjoy rich double espressos roasted to stand up even when chilled. Refreshingly bold iced coffee. Refreshingly easy to make at home. Visit Nespresso.com to shop now.
What does every USAA member have in common? Family. We're one big family who supports the military community and their eligible families. And if you, your parent, or spouse served, you could join our family and save big on auto insurance. Visit USAA.com/join today to check your eligibility. Membership eligibility and product restrictions apply and are subject to change. USAA means United Services Automobile Association and its affiliates, San Antonio, Texas.
Hey, it's Paris. You know I love sparkly things, right? Like stars. Duh. And thanks to Hilton and AutoCamp, I just slept under them. Picture me, serving looks by the fire outside my luxurious Airstream, making s'mores with the kids, while a national park is our backdrop. The great outdoors meets Hilton hospitality. That's hot. Explore all the new ways to stay at Hilton.com. Hilton for the stay.
This episode is sponsored by Friskies, who would like to tell your cats hi. Now, if that didn't get your cat's attention, there is one thing that always does the trick. Just pour some Friskies crunchy food in the bowl and you'll hear those paws come running. Works every time. With so many Friskies choices, you can always bring your cats running from their secret napping spots. There's always more to explore. See for yourself at Friskies.com or visit your local store.
Look, I don't know why it's hard for me to think about it because I have a very healthy marriage, right? Where I have no secrets from my wife. She has no secrets from me that I know of. If she does, I don't want to know because things are fucking super cool, right? Like I have no secrets from my wife, but I don't do anything that I would need to keep secret anymore. Like what the I don't need those headaches, right? You know how hard it is to maintain a lie. I did that in my 20s. It is an up at dawn, 100% of your time keeping lies in order, right? And I learned my lessons. So it's hard for me to think that a man in a marriage, which is obviously the closest relationship probably that you'll have in your life, where one partner doesn't know something about the other, that big of a thing, right?
Yeah.
That she doesn't know. So I guess that's a long way of me saying I stopped short of saying she was involved, but I think she had to know that something was going on.
I mean, I think it really depends on the marriage that you have. You know, like you said, you have a great relationship with your wife. You guys don't keep secrets from each other. I mean, I would say the same thing. Like my husband, I just don't, I'm not a good liar and I don't like to lie. Even, it's just kind of a principle of, I'm not trying to put myself on some platform. I don't like to lie. And so I think that people, there's people who do, and they do it well, and they do it if they can just roll right off their tongue. And if he's this type of person that can just lie and they have kind of it really just depends on what their marriage is. If they have the type of relationship where it's like, some people, they're swingers. Some people are like, so.
Well, if the marriage evolved into just like a transactional kind of relationship, right, where she gets her bills paid and he leaves her alone, she leaves him alone. I won't ask about shit goes on in the basement. Maybe I've got a guy on the side. You don't ask me, I don't ask you. There are people that exist in a very healthy way like that for years.
Yes, and we remember, speaking of older episodes, when I did that one on the swingers, where there was like the Dr. Pepper Schwartz, and she talked about the levels of attachment.
Right.
I can't remember what the three were, but basically like, you're normally attached, where there, you need to be. Yeah. So like, we don't know what their marriage was, and we don't know, is it possible that she didn't know? I think it is, depending on what their relationship was.
I think she's going to be wrong about something here. I think she's going to catch some charges before this is all done. That's what I think is going to happen.
Why? In the Green River Killer case, both of his wives didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah, I know, but they
never caught any charges.
Just something about this one.
I mean, I think that the human nature piece of it makes you feel like you should know. Like, how could you not know? but again, depending on what your marriage is, I think really is going to depend on, what she knew. Did she think that her husband was cheating on her? Probably.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. Well, but Bill absolutely thinks that, she knew.
Yeah. So let's talk about these two new victims.
Mm-hmm.
1993, and what was the other one?
So Sandra Castillo, her remains were found in 1993, and then
Right.
Jessica Taylor, I believe it was. Hold on a second. 2003.
So 20 years later, and they think that these women were at his house.
Well, based on this blueprint that they found,
Right.
where it said, next time use tacks with the drop cloth instead of tape. So it, use a sturdy table, like that kind of stuff. You want to make sure that I think that he put on this thing where it's like me getting more sleep and soundproofing, so people can't hear means equals more playtime. Those are his words. So I think that it lends itself that, yeah, he brought them back to his house, and it also coordinates with when his wife was out of town with the children. So who knows if Sandra Castillo, remember how we talked about how he had like cemented that basement where it was like, 20-inch thick walls, and like supposedly said it was like his gun safe.
Yeah.
I mean, did he have that ready to go in 1993? I don't know. Probably not. So that's why the MO is different,
That would make sense, actually. As he had a more secure place, more secret place, the MO could change.
Absolutely.
The more playtime stuff is really sick, but it's nothing about, everything about this is just, and then you just think about that massive, sweaty guy, he's just all just big and fleshy and gross.
6'6". I mean,
6'6" and like 300 pounds or something. Just a huge, huge guy. Did you ever read Cormac McCarthy? Did you read Blood Meridian?
No.
Gosh, the main character is this, or the main protagonist, kind of the main character, the Judge Glanton. And one of the greatest characters in literature, like up there with Sancho Panza and with, Falstaff. Like really genius character, evil and disgusting and smart and just crazy. But he was this huge, huge mountain of a man, bald headed, and you're introduced to him at one of these revivals. It's back in the mid 1800s, this big tent revival. And this guy's up there preaching, and the judge just walks into the back. And you've never met the judge before, okay? You were following this other character called the Kid, and the judge comes in and just from the back starts bellowing up at the preacher and saying like, "You're from that other town where you attacked those young boys and brought them into it," and just kept saying this. And the preacher's going, "Ha ha! I don't know who that guy is." He goes, "You don't know me? You don't remember?" And the judge had never met him. And just in a few moments of riling up the madness of this crowd, got the preacher killed. They took him outside and they killed him. And it was just like, it was sport for the judge. It was crazy, wonderful scene.
It took place in like the late 1800s?
Mid to late. Yeah. And then he just goes on from there. And it's, but anyway, it's a great book. The level of evil in the judge and the accused here, Rex Heuermann, a different kind, right? The judge was very open and not a real person, I guess, but also very overt with his crimes and with his sadistic genius. Whereas Heuermann was, just behind the scenes doing it for so long, so it's much scarier and creepier.
Yeah. To see this document,
yeah,
the planning that went into it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what's the difference? Organized and disorganized serial killers?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've read about so much of both. The organized ones are able to stick to it for a long time, you know?
And he had these notes in that document from, John Douglas, the famous profiler,
Yep.
retired FBI profiler. So like he was tracking and like learning, and it's just, I think there's going to be so much more that comes out. It's almost
I
going to be
totally agree.
overload,
I totally agree. And he was running a business this whole time too. He's an architect. What was he designing? What, like houses and shit? Like what buildings?
Like buildings in Manhattan, and was successful. And, I mean,
I wonder if any of his victims are like buried in the concrete foundations of these buildings. That would be something, huh?
I hope not, because they're never going to find them,
Oh, they'll find him if someone rolls. I told you what happened to me in high school, right? With my buddy. My friend grew up in North Jersey. Okay, it's mob country.
In the basement. That's right.
Yeah, he had to move out of his house because some hitman turned states and said, "Okay, I'll tell you where the bodies are buried." One of them was in Steve's basement. They had to bust through the foundation.
Manhattan, a huge building. They're not going to be able to take that down.
Well, no, what I'm saying is they wouldn't take down the whole building, but there's one spot in the foundation they could reinforce it and go down there. If it's between that and this guy getting put away or not getting put away, they'll get the body.
I just am going to be curious to see if this thing goes to trial. I mean, it's like, why would he want to do this?
That was the last question on my list was, do you think he's ever going to talk? Do you think Huerman's ever going to talk? Take a plea, cop to everything, avoid the needle, and just live the rest of his life in jail.
Well, that's the thing. There's no needle in New York. That's that's not even on the table.
There was growing up when I was a kid, but shit.
What were you just looking behind your back for?
No, there's a fly in my office.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it really, I hope he does, because I think that there's so many people out there that want to know what happened to their loved ones. And the fact that there's 20 years has been added to this, and just with the varying MO and just kind of like the what it takes to identify these, remains that they have scattered out, if he's, that's what there's another victim, I believe her name is Valerie Mack. And, I think that there's supposed to be charges. He's supposed to be charged with her murder as well. And it's just tough, because depending on what jurisdiction is in, do you have a cold case unit that's going to go through and do what needs to be done? I think that they have the task force who has basically are the ones that brought this whole thing together. After they became involved, I mean, I think they had it solved in like less than a year, or maybe a little bit over a year. This could have been solved so long ago, but because of all the subterfuge with the James Burke, the captain, and I mean, it's just going to be a circus. I'm sure the defense is going to have a field day with this guy.
Look, he's going to end up doing a Ridgeway, Green River Killer kind of thing where just eat a little bit of information here and there, just to get shit, right? Just to get a nicer cell, or to get color TV, or to get fucking ice cream sandwich on Wednesday or whatever.
Ridgeway was back in 2001. The death penalty was still, there wasn't a moratorium on the death penalty. So that's why he chose to do that. Yeah. There's no death penalty. So so you can't really threaten that.
No, but what I'm saying is, I think he's going to hold back as much information as he can just to keep getting perks on the inside.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
He's been in jail this whole time, right? And he hasn't talked yet.
But I mean, he hasn't, it's not final.
Oh, yeah, I know. But where is he? Is he at Rikers this whole time? Where is he in jail?
I don't know. But the wife doing the reality TV show, like that's just so
poor
awful.
Taste. Yeah.
Yeah. Awful.
Yeah. No shit. Oh man. Well, I'm glad that Detective Cannon made himself available on short notice. That guy's a hoot. That guy he loves his job. I'll tell you that. He loves his job. I still want to fly back east and catch one of his stand-up acts. I bet he'd be pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean, I like it that he doesn't take himself too seriously, but you can tell he's been on the job and he
Took the
knows.
job very seriously. 27 years.
Yeah.
Right?
And when we were talking about like when he was a professor, he just lit up. Like you can tell he's still learning. He's still learning. And because I think that when he was the sergeant of detectives of the homicide unit, I don't think that he was really involved a lot or he said he didn't do a lot of, or didn't have a lot of work with serial killer cases. So I think for him in the job that he's doing right now, it's like, that's what he's doing. So he's learning a lot as he's going along.
It's definitely an emerging passion for him, definitely, and he's really indulging himself in that. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And I could listen to his accent all day.
Oh
He's a little old school cop for me. Like,
yeah,
No,
when I hear him, and I don't want him to be offended, so I don't know if he'll listen to this, but he that's what my dad sounded like. My dad was from New York, born and raised Staten Island. And that's just what I hear, Carolyn, just that Carolyn, the way he does that. Yeah. To put water in your radiator, just that kind of sound is like very familiar to me. And so, but he's definitely old school. Definitely.
Oh man! All right. Well, look, I'm sure there will be many more updates on this as we go forward, and we will report it to you as things break. So, well done, and looking forward to talking to Cannon again. So, anything else you want to add on this? Anything I missed or that you want to talk about that I didn't bring up?
No.
Great.
We'll just wait and see.
We'll wait and see, definitely. And next week, back to regularly scheduled programming. So until then, if you enjoyed the episode, please go over to Apple Podcasts and like and subscribe and share and tell your friends. We would appreciate that. And please consider supporting the great companies that support our show. Without them, we couldn't do it. For Criminal Mischief, I am Brandon Morgan with the great Carolyn Osorio. Carolyn, anything else?
We will see you next week.
Stay safe out there, everybody.
From Cloud 10, Criminal Mischief is a pie-in-the-sky production, recorded in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. We're produced by Brandon Morgan and myself, music by Soundstripe. I'm Carolyn Osorio, your writer and host.